So I'm Robert, and I'm representing the team of Eindhoven right now, and I'll explain to you our business case in only 3 minutes. So in the Netherlands, vancomycin is mostly used to treat infections due to, for example, surgery. But after some time, patients are generally stable, and it's unnecessary for them to stay in the hospital any longer. Hospitals are currently trying new ways to pilot, oh, that's not supposed to happen, sorry. They're trying new ways to carry out this home treatment, but these are inefficient. So we would like to see that patients are moved to home care earlier, so that they can recover in the comfort of their home, while the hospital can focus on more pressing matters. So our solution, the T.E.S.T biosensor. In our business case, we've identified 3 of the most important stakeholders, which are the hospital, health insurance companies, and of course the patient herself. And we've made different value propositions for each one of these. We improve patient healthcare, reduce the costs of the hospital and health insurance companies as well, while the revenue of the hospital stays exactly the same. So how are we going to achieve all this? Well, we've already got a working prototype, and the casing is made in such a way that all parts can easily be fit in, so that we can industrialize easily in the future. Next to that, we want to focus on creating a cartridge so that the detection can go faster. And we want to focus on first creating a cartridge for vancomycin, but we also want to develop multiple cartridges for different kinds of biomarkers so that we can detect all of these with just one device. Our business strategy consists of multiple layers. And at first, we want to focus on selling the devices in combination with our software and cartridges. And our goal is to gain a market implementation of 15% of the maximum potential market in only 3 years. And after that, we want to focus on selling multiple kinds of cartridges for multiple kinds of biomarkers and shift to a more service-oriented offer. Yeah, there we go. So to summarize, we've made an overview of the returns gained after an investment in T.E.S.T. With an investment of only 15,000 euros, we'll be able to move patients to home care earlier with our biosensor, saving time in the hospital, and also resulting to a cost reduction for health insurance companies of up to 4,000 euros. Hospitals can also save money. They do this by moving the patient to home care, and they save per patient per day, they save 180 euros. And this makes it possible for them to make a return on investment after treating only 9 patients. So as you can see, the translation potential of our biosensor is fantastic. It has a clear business case, and it also has clear benefits. It has benefits for the hospital, it reduces their costs, it reduces costs of health insurance companies, and it improves healthcare for patients as well. So to finish off, I'd like to thank our sponsors and advisors for supporting us during this year. And I'd like to thank you for your attention. Any questions?
Great to hear that you for home care.
Yes. So how do we consider quality insurance with our biosensor at home care? So we've talked to clinical physicists who do the quality control right now in the hospitals, and they say that it's possible if you supply calibration samples with your biosensor, then you have to calibrate it every day you use it. They do that, at least they do it every day right now in the hospitals, because they have to carry out so many measurements. But I'd say that if you calibrate it 1 or 2 days, once or every 2 days, oh, yeah, that's a good one. So that's the home care workers. They carry out the monitoring and they handle the device, and they also have to calibrate the samples as well. So they do it once or twice a day, or once every 2 or 1 days. Yes. All right. Yes. I'm sorry. What was your question? Like that. So, do we require like cold storage for transport during the entire? Yeah. So we do right now because we use antibodies in our detection, and they have to be stored at 70 degrees. But we've also looked at different possibilities for using a D-ALA sequence, which is a part of the bacteria the vancomycin works. And if it actually detects D-ALA just as it does antibodies. So if we can replace the antibodies with that peptide sequence, then that wouldn't be necessary anymore. But that would, of course, require additional development of the assay. You have a question? Yes. Yes. The investment covers our device and cartridges for a 3-month supply. That's it, though. Yes.
Process innovation from second line care to home care.
Mm-hmm.
Project 50% penetration in 2 years.
3 years, yes.
3 years. That's impossible. Can you explain how you're going to do that?
So you think it's impossible to gain a market implementation of 15% in 3 years?
Going to change the current health path.
Yeah.
Process innovation in healthcare. I think it can lead to 5 to 10 years implementation time.
Okay, so we think it's shorter because hospitals are currently piloting new ways already, and they've already communicated with home care workers as well, as they, right now, there's home care workers treating patients at home, but they have to take their blood samples to the hospital and back. So the home care workers already carry out this monitoring, sort of. They serve as transport, but that's why we think that we can hop onto this trend and like solve the problem of the logistics in between. Vancomycin, yes. Specifically this, yes. Any other questions?
How are you going to convince the doctors in Europe to discharge their patients 1 day earlier with your technique? Because that may be the biggest challenge.
So,
People home earlier and trusting in your device.
in Europe as a whole or just the Netherlands?
Assuming you're not going to target the Netherlands as a sole country.
Yes, okay. So how are we going to convince all the doctors in the hospitals to hop aboard our biosensor train? So I talked to one of the doctors who actually uses vancomycin sometimes for patients who aids in treatment. And we can actually reduce their workload because at least in the Netherlands, it works with DBC structures, which means you open a new register per patient, and the doctor receives a fixed amount of money for that registration. But if we can reduce the workload that the doctor has to provide for the patient, so the patient moves to home care earlier, they still get the same amount of money, but the patient is moved to home care earlier. Any other questions? That's it? All right.